you can go back and look at it, or if somebody had to miss today, they can go back and look at it.
Deborah, we
So I
also,
think,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
we have a
So we,
request to go around the room and, at some point, not necessarily now, just to let everybody introduce themselves.
okay, yeah, I think that's a great idea, and thanks for bringing that up. If somebody will remind me after I finish the presentation, I think that'll probably be a good time to go around and see who's in the Zoom room. Awesome. So I am going to go ahead and do this presentation. Um, Again, looking at our Ruffin and Brookins ancestors, but today with a particular focus on freedom in the Jim Crow South. And one of the reasons I chose this as a theme is because it really is about freedom. Even though people were being tremendously oppressed during this time, they still were able to press on and achieve freedom in spite of everything that was going on. We learned last time about our family tree, and we took a look at some of the ancestors, especially for those young folks in the family that may not have heard a lot of this. And one thing that we did note last time when we were looking at the dates was that this generation was born into slavery. When we talk about Redden Ruffin Sr., when we talk about his wife Eliza, on the Phillips side, Hope Phillips and Ellen Phillips, and then Ned Brookins and Kanzade and Bryant Coleman, they were all born into slavery. But as we all know from our history, there was an emancipation. And so when the Emancipation Proclamation came through, it gave the former slaves freedom and equality under the law. So it gave them the right to own land. It gave them the right to vote with the 13th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment gave them the right to vote. They had a right to work, a right to be employed. And I heard someone on Henry Gates' show say this. It gave them the right to raise a family. They were no longer being separated forcibly in the way that slavery did. And so they had that right. But we also know that freedom ain't free. And so along with these rights, these legal rights, there was a lot of opposition, in particular, as you can imagine, by the former slave holders. And I don't know how many people in the family know this, but there was a man named Jack Turner who was actually lynched on the courthouse square in Butler he was lynched actually in 1882. This insurrection report was from 1874. So we know that even in Choctaw County, we hear a lot about lynching that went on back during the day, but even in Choctaw County, there was a man that was actually lynched right there on the courthouse square. So the state of Alabama rewrote its constitution in 1901. Reconstruction ended, and the Jim Crow laws, or the Black Code, came into effect. And at this point, Blacks have no vote. There's no representation. There's no ability to make laws. There's no power to defend the laws that they are afforded based on the United States Constitution. And they can't sit in judgment of people who violate those laws. And so much of what was given to them legally from the federal government has now been taken away by local and state governments. But still, our ancestors pressed on in spite of all of this that had happened. And so now we see that as early as 1867, we can see documentation where our family members were registered to vote. This was one that I could find where Redden Ruffin is a registered voter in 1867. Ledger Brookins, his sister is actually a school teacher in 1870. As early as 1870, she's listed as a school teacher. Here we can see Ned Brookins in 1880. He has his 40 acres. And it's probably true that this was his 40-acre allotment because we know that the Freedmen's Bureau was very active in Choctaw County in helping Black people to vote and helping them to get land ownership. And it was given out in 40-acre parcels. And so this may very well be that famous 40 acres. And here in this document, it belongs to Ned Brookins. The 1910 census shows Redden Jr. on his farm, and it shows him as an owner. It shows him as an owner in 1910. And this is important because if you owned your farm, then whatever proceeds you got from your farm were yours, and they didn't have to be shared as in the sharecropper arrangement. And on several of our ancestors, when you look at them in the census, that's what you see. You see them as owners. Now you also see them where their land is actually mortgaged. So very often they had to mortgage that land in order to buy seed or equipment or sometimes even livestock. But at least they proceeded from the perspective of owning the farm. So our ancestors did what they could. They worked, they prayed, they educated themselves, and they educated their children. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. But during those times, they did the things that they could do. They established the control that they could have over their lives and over the lives of their families. We can see specific members of our family standing up for voting rights. In the suit against the Choctaw County Voter Registration Board, the United States versus Choctaw County Voter Registration Board, Martin Ruffin and Christine Hopkins were among 61 people that were called, that were slated to testify at that hearing. We can see them organizing for civil rights. In 1965, the Choctaw County Civic League was incorporated in the state of Alabama. We see Martin and Velma among the incorporators, and we also see Thelma Craig as an incorporator for the Choctaw County Civic League. Again, standing up for voting rights in the 1965 decision on the lawsuit against the Choctaw County Voter Registration Board. Among the documents that came out of that lawsuit, we find Martin Ruffin, and he testified that there were multiple attempts at voter registration, and all of his 6 applications were rejected. And there's actually in that document the actual application made by Harvey Craig, where his application was rejected. So even though there were very few Black voters on the voter registration list, I showed you a copy of a voter registration list from 1867. And in 1870, there were about 1,100 Black voters in Choctaw County. If you look at the 1930 voter registration list, you only see 6. You see 4 Black men and 2 Black women, and everyone else is white. Standing up for better schools. There was a paper published, the Southern Courier, and I commend that newspaper to you. It only ran for about 4 years, but the southerncourier.org has a lot of their old, well, actually every single one of their papers that they publish is on that website. And in that newspaper from one of the 1967 issues, the reporter interviews Thelma Craig, who encourages the Black community to stay together, so that to stick together, to keep the children out of school, so that the demands would be met. And they were just really looking for better facilities. You know, they were looking for better books. You know, obviously the demands weren't outlandish, but the community did come together, including members of our family, to try to get better schools for the children. And so now we get down to a place in history that I actually have some familiarity with, and I know that several people on the call have direct familiarity with. There were protests and boycotts for civil rights in the summer of 1971. SCLC came to the area and helped to organize, along with the Choctaw County Civic League, and organized boycotts throughout Choctaw County and protests there in Butler. This picture that was published in the Choctaw Advocate actually shows one of the protests in downtown Butler. This is the intersection where Highway 10 and Highway 17 intersect. And I'm actually at this protest along with several other family members. I'm out of frame, I'm not on this picture, but I actually remember that particular day because this was a day where one of the women was actually, one young lady was actually killed during that protest. We were blocking the intersections, and every time I see the Black Lives Matter demonstrations today where they're blocking intersections and blocking the interstates, I think about this. This is exactly what we were doing, but a white man ran his car through the demonstrators, and one young lady was actually killed that day. This article says 148 people were jailed Tuesday morning, and this 148 was actually a bunch of young folks that weren't actually old enough to go to jail, but they loaded us up and took us down to the National Guard Armory, and I bet there's probably going to be one or two people that have something to say about that before our call is over today, because several of you experienced that as well as I did. So Margaret Knight was killed during the protests in Butler, and some of you may not know, but Reverend Ralph Abernathy actually came and led the funeral procession there in Butler for Margaret Knight, and actually preached at her funeral. And these are some pictures from the Choctaw Advocate during that time. And so I told you to be a quick presentation. I just wanted to mention some of the things that had happened in Choctaw County over history and ways that our family was involved in it. And those are just a few things that I was able to find documents for. But I really do hope that we continue to tell those stories. And some of you may have some of those stories. I know when we met before, Uncle Charles mentioned a confrontation that Grandma Cindy actually had with the Ku Klux Klan, and there's a lot of that in our family history. So it's important that we tell those stories. It's important that we hear those stories, and it's important that we document those stories, because the fight does continue. The protest now is called Black Lives Matter. And I know that a lot of us are probably involved in those demonstrations as well. But it lets us know that the same types of things that were going on in the past still continue now. Voting rights is, our rights are still in jeopardy. They were in jeopardy 150 years ago, and they still are now. Our children still need better schools. Our children still need better ways of being educated. And jobs was another thing that we were protesting for, the right to better jobs, hiring practices, all of those things. We've had to fight in the past in order to make sure that we retain those rights, and the fight does continue. So that's the end of my presentation. And if anybody has any questions or comments, well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna go around and let everyone that's on the call tell us who you are and say hello, and we'll just do that kind of briefly. Let's see. And I see I'm not exactly sure what the best way to do this is, but I think we'll go down.
You may want to call them people out by the screen name and then let them go.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So let me start with myself and kind of set the tone for it. I hope we can do this kind of quickly. But I'm Deborah, Deborah Tucker. Christine Hopkins was my mom. This is my husband, Johnny. And of course, Christine was one of Martin and Velma's children. So let's go to Alexia next. Yeah, unmute and tell it, you have to unmute, sorry.
Hi, I'm Alexa Ruffin. I am the second child of Franklin and Annie Ruffin, and I currently live in Huntsville, Alabama.
Great. Alicia?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Alicia. I am the daughter of Al Ruffin, granddaughter of Cassie, great-granddaughter of Velma.
All right, thank you. Jonathan?
Remember to unmute.
I'm unmuted. I'm Jonathan Tucker. I am the son of Deborah and Johnny Tucker and grandson to Christine Hopkins.
All right, great. Robert?
Can I just copy and paste everything Jonathan said?
Sure, as long as you tell people that you're his brother.
My name is Robert, son to Deborah and Johnny, grandson of Christine Hopkins, great-grandson of Velma Ruffin.
Thanks, Robert. Uncle Frank, I think your screen name is Koa today.
No, actually it's Frank.
Okay.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and tell us who you are.
I'm the 12th child of Martin and Velma Ruffin. And my wife Annie is on the phone line also. And pleased to see all of you.
All right, well, great. Well, who has Koa as their screen name today?
He does. He's still coming to Zoom.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Marcia.
I am Marcia, daughter of Al, granddaughter of Cassie, great-granddaughter of Velma and Martin.
All right, great. Let's see. Is this Willie Calvin Craig?
Yes, it is.
All right. Welcome.
Welcome and thank you. Very enlightening.
Okay, great.
I remember some of those days.
I bet you do. I bet you do. All right. So this is now you're
Thelma's son.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. AJ.
AJ Ruffin, oldest son of Al Ruffin, grandson of Cassie Harris, great grandson of Martin and Velma Ruffin.
All right. And one of the best financial minds you'll ever find.
Ditto.
All right. Amanda.
Hello, everyone. I am daughter of, I'm Amanda Ruffin Reddick, but it's not hyphenated. I'm Amanda Reddick, but daughter of Van Ruffin and granddaughter of Thelma and Martin Ruffin.
Awesome, Amanda.
And this is my mother, my father's ex-wife.
Oh, they have to show that.
Carol Ruffin.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. I think we've got Arby Parker on.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me see if I can break all this down. I am Arby A. Parker II, child of Carlos Craig Parker and Arby Parker Sr., grandchild of Richard Craig and Thelma Craig there in Lisman.
Yes.
And I grew up in Livingston, Alabama, and currently up the street from Alexa here in Madison, Alabama.
Okay. All
So there you
right.
go.
Okay.
Oh, and my wife is the Kieta Walker Parker, who is also on the call here, listening in.
Awesome. Awesome. So glad to have you all. All right. All right. These eyes are not as young as they used to be. Angela Harrell.
Yes, hello. I'm Angela Harrell. I'm the daughter of Bonnie Faye Craig Daniels and the granddaughter of Thelma Craig. And so that's my lineage there too.
Awesome. That's great. We're so glad to have you. Thank you for coming. All right. Atlantis. Toot, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, good. Well, tell us who you are. I know who you are.
I'm Atlantis Ruffin, the daughter of Frank and Annie Ruffin. Velma Ruffin's my grandmother.
Awesome. Great. Thanks. Good to have you too. All
Good to be
right.
here.
Cedric, and Cedric is not by himself.
Should I go first?
Yes, please.
I'm Cedric, youngest child of Al Ruffin, right there. Grandson of Cassie, great grandson of Martin and Velma.
Awesome.
And I
So I Cassie and Al, you all want to say hello?
Hello. I'm Al, and this is my mom. I'm the one that can remember more than the rest of the folks that's talking. And I identified with that march. I remember the very day in Butler that the car came through. I remember the exact person that was driving. I remember who was hanging on the car.
Wow.
We all were able to get up and get out the way, but Margaret was not able to get up. And that's what happened to her. But yeah, we did go through a lot together, didn't we, Deborah and Pam?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Al.
All right.
And hi, Aunt Cassie. I'm gonna pester you for some more in just a little bit.
Okay, I'm Cassie. We left Wendell's name off that list again, of Martin and Velma's children.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's good to see so many representatives of the Ruffin clan and the Craig young lady. My first time seeing her.
Angela.
So Angela, that was good to see her. And there's someone else next to Oliver that I don't know. Who's that?
That's it says Karen Tyndall.
Tyndall. Oh, Maurice.
Yeah.
Yes, Karen is my wife. I'm Daryl Tyndall. I'm the son of Marie, Craig Tyndall, and Ernest Tyndall. And Marie is the daughter of Thelma and Richard Craig. And Karen and I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow, awesome.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you and good to be seen.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's see. I think I need to go to Celeste Tyndall. Like I said, these eyes are not what they used to be. Is Celeste on?
Celeste is on. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I am daughter of Marie Tyndall, granddaughter of Thelma and Richard Craig. Enjoyed many summers in Yantley, Alabama. It's good to see all my cousins and good to learn all this good history. We have to keep passing it on. It's so important. I really appreciate the stories. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see. Christopher, you want to say hello?
Deb, Grandma wants to say something real quick.
Okay, all right.
Celeste.
Yeah.
I saw I remember you when you were a little baby girl.
Yes, really?
Your hair is dark. I thought you were going to be a redhead.
I think that was the sunshine.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you since.
It's good to see you too. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. All right, Christopher, you want to say hello?
On the road again?
Probably so. All right, I'm gonna I can't see everybody on my screen, so I'm sure Christopher is there. Maybe busy.
He's walking.
I'm
So
here. I'm here.
Ah, there he is. Chris, you
Dr.
want to?
Holly here.
Ah, okay.
I'm walking through the street so y'all can hear me.
Okay, great. You want to tell us quickly who you are?
Hey family, my name is Christopher Harris. I am the oldest child of Crystal Tanner. I am the grandchild of Cassie. I am the great grandchild of Velma and Martin. And I have a beautiful story to tell. It's kind of funny. R.B. Parker on here. We were at Alabama A&M together, sitting in a dormitory room at Foster Hall. That's and we were right. Talking about each other's family. And he said, so finally he said something to hurt my feelings. Like, you don't know my family. And so I started telling him where I'm from. He said, my grandma's from there.
All
Who's your
right.
grandma? I know everybody down there. Who's your grandma? Velma Craig. That's my cousin.
Velma?
You want everybody to know who you are.
Oh, that's great. That is great. That is great.
And now I got 2 kids up there with him.
Ah, okay. Awesome. All right. Alec, Daryl May. You want to quickly tell us who you are, Alec?
Okay, my name is Alec May. I'm the son of Alicia May, grandson of Al Ruffin, and great grandson of Cassie Harris.
keep going.
Okay, great. Hey, old pal. Great grandson of Martin and Velma.
Awesome. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you,
Good to
Alec.
see you, Wanda.
My goodness.
Hey, hey, Gigi.
Oh, somebody tell me who's next. Frankie. All right, Frankie, I think you're there with your mom.
Say something, Ma.
Oh, you go ahead.
Hello, family.
Hey, Frankie.
It's none other than me, Frankie. I am the granddaughter.
Messages received from Queen Carlinia.
I am the granddaughter of Velma Ruffin and Martin Ruffin. I am the beautiful daughter of Vernon Ruffin. I am happily married to Andre Washington, and I am a business owner.
Great. It's good to see you guys. Gonna come back to you in just a few minutes. I see Julian Allen's name on the screen, and I think he's probably with Aunt Barbara. Hi, Aunt Barbara. Somebody needs to unmute you. Somebody unmute Aunt Barbara. Is somebody close by, Aunt Barb? I'm gonna come back to you in just a minute. You just interrupt me when somebody gets you unmuted. Let's see. Caleb Harris. Caleb, you're on the line somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Caleb. You want to tell everybody who you are?
Oh, baby.
That's my boy.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm one of the 6 tuplets, number 3. Son of Chris Harris, first son, and I'm a grandchild of Crystal Tanner, great grandchild of Cassie Harris. I don't know how deep this goes.
It goes pretty deep.
It goes pretty. I want to see how far you can go.
I don't know. So much, just so much to remember.
All right.
Alec
I
just,
mean,
oh, you can do it.
I might be great grandchild of Velma Ruffin.
Ruffin. There you go.
Yes, you got it.
That's
Ruffin,
good.
there you go. All right.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Caleb. And Caleb is an old family name, so that's a bit of history right there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
From Uncle
I sent you something on that so you can see. All right, let's go to let's see, Karen Tyndall.
Yeah.
Did we do her already? Yes.
Oh, no,
Right.
it was,
Somebody help me.
Yeah, that was Daryl.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Kieran Harris is here.
Serena too.
Kieran.
Mute me.
You want to unmute yourself and see if you can do as well as Caleb did?
He was out with his section leader, so I don't know if he can unmute.
Okay, no problem. We're not gonna cause any problems.
Oh, there's Betty Wallace is on there.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna let me go with Aunt Barbara first, and then I'll go to Betty Wallace. Aunt Barbara, you're unmuted.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
You want to tell us? You want to tell us about yourself?
Yes.
Aunt Boo Boo.
I'm there. And I'm living in Houston right now with my goddaughter, Gina.
All right.
So good to see everybody.
Yeah, good to see you too, Aunt Barbara. I'm gonna come back to you in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's see. Betty Wallace is on. I'll go ahead. Cassie mentioned her.
Unmute.
she's unmuted.
Betty Wallace. Okay. Betty Wallace, are you there? Somebody has a screen name Betty Wallace?
Does.
May have walked away from the phone or
Her
something.
audio is not connected, Auntie.
Okay, all right.
She was on initially.
I see. Okay, no problem. I am going to Keith Walker Parker.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, it's Kieta.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize.
That's okay. I'm Arby Parker's wife.
Ah.
So yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hey. See, I've heard Phyllis. I've heard Phyllis talk about Keith so much. That's the name.
Oh, her son. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right.
Okay, Lamar Ruffin.
I'm here, Lamar Ruffin.
Hello,
Obi
Lamar.
Ruffin, the oldest son. Hey. All right. Hello, family. How you doing?
Hey, that's Obi's son there. All right, very good. Let's see.
You're looking good.
Lanisha, Niche.
Hello, I think I'll never outlive that name. Right? Hello, everyone. My name is Lanisha Knighton. I am Linzel Ruffin's daughter and Velma and Martin Ruffin's granddaughter.
Great. Glad you're here. So glad you're here. Linda Staton. Did I get it right?
I say Staten, but I answer to Staten as well.
Okay.
I am Linda Wallace Staten. I am the granddaughter of Rufus Wallace, the great-granddaughter of Florence Ruffin, which was the sister of Martin Ruffin.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I have heard my mom has has told me so much about Aunt Florence. So it's wonderful to be one of her descendants. Glad to have you here. All righty, let's see. Marsha,
You already called on her.
did I? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And
She may have
Uncle
wanted me to go again.
Let's see. Uncle Lindsay is under Maurice Ruffin's screen name. Hey, Uncle Lindsay, you want to say hello and tell everybody who you are? Get somebody to unmute you.
Is he awake?
He's awake. Well, you go
Oh, am I oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Erica's gonna come help him out. There you go. Thanks, Erica.
Okay, can you hear me there?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I am Lindsay L. Ruffin, the second oldest son of Martin and Velma Ruffin, the great grandson of Ren Ruffin.
All righty.
Sixth child.
And I'm getting old.
And you're finally admitting to it. I can't believe it.
Yep.
Thanks, Uncle Lindsay. I'll be back with you in just a minute.
Hey, Otto.
Hey.
Oliver.
What's the name? Hollered at you. Hello.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Everybody. I'm Oliver Keaton.
Hey, Oliver.
I'm Pamelia's son, Cassie's grandson, Velma and Martin's great-grandson. And I'm just so excited to be here. And I don't know if I'm more jealous of the people that are like, oh, Velma's my grandmother, or like the on the other end of the spectrum, we got these great-greats going on. And,
I know.
and I'm out here in California. Hey, everybody.
Awesome. Hey, Oliver. It was so good to see you. Oh, here's my shade tree sister, Phyllis Craig Taylor.
Hello, family.
Hey.
Are you? This is Phyllis. I am Thelma and RC's youngest child, Emma Ruffin, Martin's sister,
exactly,
her grandmother, and the granddaughter of Redden and Lucinda.
Awesome. So good to see you. So good to see you, cousin.
Looking more like your mom every day.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. You know, she's a pretty fancy lady.
Pamelia.
Yay. I'm so excited to be going after Phyllis.
I know it.
Yeah.
You just wanted to round out the Shade Tree Trio.
The Shade Tree Trio. Also the folks that I learned how to pick it and sit in with, and I am still at it to this day. My name is Pamelia Harris. I am the daughter of Cassie Harris, the granddaughter of Velma and Martin Ruffin, and the great-granddaughter of Redden and Lucinda. So it's just so good to see everybody. And hey, we on to something now. We're getting together.
Right. All right. Thank you. Serena May.
There you are. That's cool.
Hello, family.
My baby.
Hey.
Hey, family.
Good.
Hey, brother. I am the daughter of Alicia Ruffin. I am the granddaughter of Al Ruffin, the great-granddaughter of Cassie Harris, and the great-great-granddaughter of Martin and Velma. I'm here in New York.
Yeah, up there at West Point. All right.
Go Army.
I know. All right, and let's see, is there one last person that I haven't called on? Is that Ronnie? Is that what that says?
Audio is not connected for Ronnie.
Okay, all right, great, thanks. I appreciate it. Did I miss anybody?
Are you need anything else to say?
All right, well, we're gonna go. I have just a few questions for some of Martin and Velma's kids. I'm gonna go a little bit out of well, I'm going to go a lot out of order. I am going to, I'm going to start with Uncle Linzel. Uncle Linzel, I know I told you that I was going to ask you about your experience in leaving Pushmataha and what that experience might have been like. But before I ask you that question, you told me something the other day, Uncle Linzel, about Aunt Lucy. Aunt Lucy, you said that she and Uncle Ulysses were actually in the funeral home business for a while. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I think that's something that some folks in the family might not know.
I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The second year that Luther taught school, she got married to Ulysses Henderson down in Silence. He couldn't do any reading or writing, I remember, but he wired up our house, the White House down there. She would read the book and he would run the wires. Damnest thing I ever seen in my life. And it worked. It still worked.
She must have been doing some pretty good reading.
Yeah. And he was ambitious. He didn't know he was just about semi-illiterate, but he didn't know it. So he trying things. So he started working for Weatherly Funeral Home in York. He ran, and they got where he ran that. Then they transferred one in Thomasville and one in Thomaston. He was running them all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Embalming, burying people all over. And Lucy was fixing the hair and cosmetic preparation. And they went a long way. Sometimes they run 3 and 4 funeral homes.
Wow.
And he had never been inside a funeral home before he started working there.
Wow. I had never heard that before. All right. So
he did before he went to the steel mill.
Okay.
He put that and went in the steel mill.
Yeah.
And just for the hell of it, so I can get past, most of the people on this call don't know what it is, but he was a chipper in the steel mill. And so see, you learn from listening to me.
Every time I talk to you, I learn something, Uncle Linzel.
You put the birds off of the steel bars.
Okay.
Okay, I'll shut up right now.
Well, just one more thing. Just one more thing. I wanted you to talk a little bit about, because we heard from you last time about a lot of the work that you did in terms of leading protests and demonstrations to gain better job conditions for people. So we were able to hear a little bit about that last time. But can you mention to us anything that you think we might want to know about when you first left Push? Because when you first left Push, you went to the military. Is that right?
Yeah, the reason I didn't end up being in Push is because me and Harvey Craig were going to school at A&M at the same time.
Okay.
Bill McMarsh, who was the principal, he would post our grades on the bulletin board. And go around and tell the students at chapel, this is who you try to be like. Linda Ruffin and Howard Craig, they graduated from this thing.
Wow.
Before I got out of school in Huntsville, I would dress men up, all the men, be 300 or 400 of us. We dress up and go downtown and stand in at the bus station to protest.
Yeah.
And the news. So the news got back to Choctaw County. And I don't know if Phyllis knows this or not, but they would not give us jobs in Choctaw County because we were hell raisers.
Ah.
We hadn't had no protest. And so that's why I wasn't there. But I think Harvey had a little more personal reason. He found the lady up there in Athens. But they wouldn't hire me. They told Joe McBride he could not hire me.
Wow.
He couldn't hire me. So I was a hell-raising N-word.
Wow.
But I'm sure glad I was.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. And it's so interesting that when you dig down into the history of the Ruffin men, so many of them ended up having to leave the area just because of that. They had reputations as being hell raisers, but really they were just standing up for their rights. Thanks, Uncle Lindsay. Aunt Barbara, you still there? Are you still unmuted? I can't see you, but I know you're there somewhere. She's still muted. Okay, if somebody else, I'm sorry. Aunt Barbara, you there?
I'm coming.
You're coming.
Leave alone. You got it.
I think that got it, Aunt Barbara.
All right. Yep, you got it. Aunt Barbara.
She did it again.
You muted it again.
That's her brother down under her then.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm gonna talk to Aunt Jean then. Aunt Jean, I think you wanted to tell us about the M&M daycare. Is that right?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am the 8th child of Velma Ruffin and Martin Ruffin. My mother was named Velma Ruffin. She was a working before she got married. She got married at a very early age. I think she was 14 or 15 years old. But anyway, about the M&M Daycare Center. One day she was at home and she said, I want to do something for the young people in the community. So her and my cousin, Thelma Craig, which my mom, she grew up around my mother. They decided they would open up a daycare center at the White House that we used to live in. And so mom said, I don't have much, but I'll use what I got in my kitchen. So they had, if I'm not mistaken, about 5 kids in the beginning. They had Talitha Butler and Miss Butler's daughter in the class. I mean, and Martha Mouse.
I'll talk to you after I get off.
Martha Mouse, Christine Johnson, Miss Walton, Betty Horton was the driver of the bus, and it was another lady. I think she was last name was Mitchell. She was from Butler, Alabama, and Martha Horn. I mean Martha Horn Mouse. She was from up there in Push. But anyway, some of them brought their own child to the school, and they started a daycare center at the White House that we used to live in. And Miss Walton was the cook, and she would prepare the meal. But what the main thing that stood out to me about the daycare center was the parents that was around there. They did all they could for the kids. They didn't, I think they started about, I say, the kids wasn't even walking. They learned them how to walk, how to talk, and how to use the potty if they need. And the so now they called it M&M Daycare Center. M was one of the names. That was my daddy named Martin, and the other M was for Margaret, the one that got hit by the car at the protest down there in Butler. Uh, After they left there, Thelma moved to her daycare center up there by her house, and they continued to have a daycare center.
That's one. That's great, Aunt Jean. Thank you so very much. And you remember so many of those details. I can't help but to smile just thinking about how the daycare center was. One of my first jobs was to drive the van. One summer when I was out of school, I drove the van picking up the kids for the daycare center. So you bring back some precious memories. Thank you so much, Aunt Jean.
You did a good job too.
We can't forget how good the oatmeal was either. me Walton put that pep milk and the raisins in the oatmeal, made it super good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I am going to go to Aunt Cassie now. Aunt Cassie, and I told y'all last time that when I want to know something about the family, if I want to know something about family history, Uncle Linzel and Aunt Cassie are my go-to people. And so I talked with Aunt Cassie about today's presentation, and I told her it was going to be her choice, that if she could just share one of her memories with us, something that she felt like it was important for the family to know. So Aunt Cassie, what are you going to share with us today?
You skipped Van.
Oh, I've skipped a lot of people. I'm going out of order.
Well, we all have memories. And one thing I noted this morning when we were in Sunday school, everybody got a different view of each thing that we remember. If two people are in a room and they share the same view, each one got a different view when you incorporate it. But it's good to hear them all come together to make up one. And so when you think about all the different things that I can recall at this moment, I don't know which one I'd like to tell you about. But I think I would like to say something about family. We've talked a lot about what happened in slavery and right after slavery and all of those different time zones. But one of the most important things that came out of all of these experiences is family. One of the reasons white people feel so dominant over Black people is because they thought in the beginning they erased the desire for Black people to have a family. But somehow or other, that desire was increased with the mistreatment of our families. And I heard someone, perhaps Deborah said a few minutes ago, we had the freedom to choose. And when you have the freedom to choose and you make a choice as strong as family, I think that's a good thing. No matter whose family grew out from the other family, there was a strong desire to hold family. We knew that we did not have the same opportunities as the people, as the white people did, because my mom used to say, the white can't move anything forward, and the same thing is still going on in Butler today. They can't move forward because their desire to keep the Black people in the ditch. And as long as you got to keep somebody in the ditch, you got to keep your foot on their neck or something. Otherwise, they'll get up and be stronger.
So what is that?
It's on
me. And that's one of the reasons is Black people can have shown their strength as a family. When you see the whole nation is pushing against you, and you can still raise a strong family, there has to be a strong unit at the head of that family. I was thinking about my grandfather the other day, how strong he was in influencing a family. He was strong and he continued to reach out to other people in the community. When you look at the will that my grandfather left, you'll see the strength of him. He left a will that lasted all the way through. I think you mentioned the fact that he owned property.
Right.
And when he, in his will, he left that will, but he had 15 children, but he knew that 15 people couldn't argue over a little strip of land. So his youngest child was my father. And he left he stated in his will or his deeds or his estate, I think was the way he said it. His estate was left to my father with my grandmother. So my grandmother was left to my father, and so was his property. And so that lets you know where his desire was. He had been a strong person. He was an entrepreneur at a very difficult time. And I think he showed my father that it was necessary for him to continue to try and hold his family together. And I think when I look at our family, we are continuing that same line of holding the family together.
Exactly.
The young people and the middle-aged people and even us old people, we're still trying to hold that family together. That is so vital in our structure.
Right. I would certainly agree with you there, Aunt Cassie. I really do. You know, we've had conversations about how even our surname, you know, how it came to be, you know, with Brookins and then even with Ruffin.
Right.
You know, I think that a lot of even just the establishment of a surname, the design was to establish something that would hold us all together. And so I really agree with you on that one.
That Brookin name, the Brookin name was to be taken away from the Brookins.
Right.
And you showed Ned Brookin at the beginning.
Right.
He remembered that before he came to Alabama, what his name was.
Exactly.
And instead of going with that Little Page name, he chose to go back to what he had been.
Yeah.
And so. Pardon?
No, that was Aunt Barbara chiming in.
Okay.
All right. So I'm sorry, Aunt Cassie, go ahead.
The Brookin name was fought for and won.
Yes.
I think the one person in the Brookin family that we didn't get to know was one of the last holdouts for not going back to Little Page, and that was Wendell, my mother's uncle. My mom said she saw him one time, and when she was a child, she saw him one time. He was running then for his life. And what I have to say about that running is that was what was necessary in order to live, to run away from the influence of those who chose to kill them rather than to live with them. One of the reasons why in a book that I read not too long ago from Franklin, it was the author, and he said that the reason the Ku Klux Klan was formed was out of jealousy. And that jealousy still remains today. That jealousy, actually their first portrayal of jealousy was for that 40 acres and a mule. And that the poor whites didn't get it. The rich didn't need it.
Right.
Got it, and the poor whites wanted it, and that was
exactly
got started according to Franklin. I'll stop.
Okay. Well, Aunt Cassie, I'm gonna have to move along a little bit, and I'm gonna move to Aunt Barbara.
Hello.
Aunt Barbara,
Yes.
good to see you today.
Good to see you.
So how did you come to leave Pushmataha? What drew you away from Choctaw County?
My mother and father actually told me to go to Toledo to take care of my nephew because his mother had another baby about 6 weeks old or something like that. And she had another baby named Lamar. Somebody to take care of him. So everybody else that was able to go was gone. So they sent me.
So you had the opportunity to help rear Lamar? My goodness.
Yeah. He was they call him. So and Franklin was 3 years old when I left.
So did you find things to be quite different when you left Pushmataha and went to the big city of Toledo?
Yeah, it was quite different. I didn't have to go to the field. I didn't have no fertilizer, but it was different situation. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say to the family today, Aunt Barbara?
No, that it's just that we all are getting old. We love each other, respect each other, give each other space, and just you got to spread a lot of love. That's all you have to do in order to get along.
Thanks, Aunt Barbara.
Thank you for everything you do.
All right.
Wait just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a photo of Thelma Craig with the two civil rights workers, the two that was killed in Mississippi. I have her photo on there and the two white boys that was killed. If anybody want it.
Okay. Well, if Julian will help you get that to one of us, then we'll share it. Thanks, Aunt Barbara.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see. I think Uncle Van. I don't think he was on when we went around, but I think he's on now. Uncle Van, are you there?
You're muted up.
Uncle Van.
See.
How about now?
Ah, we can hear you now.
How about that?
What's
What
going
part
on,
you wanna
Uncle
hear?
Van?
Well, I'm getting ready to take a trip. That's about it.
Yeah, you told me you're getting ready to go out of the country. I when I think about you and my mind oftentimes goes back to 1970 when you came back home from Vietnam. And now you're going back over there and nobody's making you.
That's right. I'm going almost to the same spot, just 900 miles from where we was fighting war at.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
So what do you want to share with the family today, Uncle Van? We talked about several things when we talked the other day. In light of what we talked about so far, what story would you like to share with the family?
That's a good question. What stories did you all?
Well, let me ask you like this. So when you did go into the military, did you experience race? Did you experience racism in the military?
Oh yeah. Well, when I went in the military, it was racism at home, and then it was a little different when I actually got in service there because everybody was trying to stay alive. Really, that was the name of the game.
Yeah.
So during training, I ran into a guy that had never spoke to a black person.
Wow.
And here we were, almost 20 years old or something, and he's never even got to say anything to say. He was from Phoenix City, Alabama.
Huh.
Yeah. But during the war, overseas in Vietnam, it was hard to find discrimination because everybody was trying to stay alive.
Mm.
You know, live from one day to the next. But there's a lot of discrimination in Alabama. But you know, having grown up in Alabama, you know what to expect because it was right out in the opening. You know, and it's just as bad now as it was then. Because now they out and they're got some support from different avenues. I was telling somebody that when I registered to vote, there wasn't hardly a Republican in the state of Alabama, and now you can't hardly find Democrats in the state of Alabama. So I don't know what flipped the card thing because it wasn't money. I don't think that Alabama is that much richer now than it was back in the 60s. So it's that built-in hatred that seemed to be taught to white Americans. You don't have to go no further than Butler, Alabama, to go down there where they got that school that they're trying to raise their kids as segregated as they possibly
can. Right.
Yeah. So, and that's all about the hatred for Black people. They don't really even know why they hate us or why there's so much discrimination. They just know that that's who their fathers and mothers said that they should hate, and that's it. When I was younger, I used to think that when the older folks die, that would be the end of racial differences. And I was very wrong about that.
No, it seems to be ingrained in our society.
Yeah. Even when I first got to New York, I drove a school bus, and I had 3 white kids on my bus, and everybody else was Black. And when I put the white kids off the bus for talking too much, we had a meeting with the principal of the school, and they let the kids talk, and the kids said, "Well, we want a white bus driver." Now, I only got 3 white kids on the bus, and the rest of them are Black, but they think they need a white bus driver just for them.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an ingrained hatred in that you can't explain, and it's hard to live with. Look what's going on in Georgia right now.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's the same thing as Jim Crow all over again. It's just the same thing. I just hope that Black people stay together like they have been for this last election, and that would make a whole lot of difference in where we go as a country.
I agree with you, Uncle Van, because like you said before, this flip from from Democrat to Republican is not about money, but it is about the power of the vote. And yes. I think sometimes we don't realize, how much power we actually have. Thanks, Uncle Van. I'm gonna move on a little bit. Uncle Charles, did Uncle Charles make it?
He has not. He's I think a little tired.
Okay.
Paul and JB are here.
I just saw him.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Hey, yeah, Paul, tell us. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good to be seen.
who you got there with you?
Yeah, I'm trying to focus on somebody. I thought, Maddie go.
She was next to her.
Well, Paul, you have to tell us where you. Paul has to. You have to. Everybody told us where they are in the family tree, so I'll just do you for everybody. Paul is Crystal Harris Tanner's son, and Crystal is the daughter of Cassie, and of course Cassie is the daughter of Martin and Thelma. So
you have to say second son. Not
I have to say, that's what I do have to say.
According to you, Christopher Harris, I don't have to say I'm started from the family now.
Quiet, quiet.
And I think Anitra joined too. I don't think Anitra was on when we first went around. So Anitra, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
And of course, Anitra is Aunt Lucy's granddaughter. So I don't know if you got a chance to hear Uncle Lindsay talking about Aunt Lucy and Uncle Ulysses earlier, but you may want to listen back for that, Anitra.
Okay.
So I've just got one more question, and then I'm going to get out of the way. Uncle Frank, when I think about Uncle Frank, in terms of kind of the conversation that we've had today, one thing that that really caught my attention when I was younger was the fact that he went to the University of Alabama back in the early 70s. And then when he left the university as an industrial engineer, he actually went to work for Reynolds Aluminum. And I thought that was just the best thing since sliced bread. I had an uncle who worked for Reynolds. So, so when I talked to Uncle Frank earlier, a few days ago, I kind of gave him the choice too. But in light of the conversation, I would like to ask you, Uncle Frank, what was that like to leave Pushmataha and go to Tuscaloosa to the University of Alabama, one of the most racist schools in the South? What was that like?
Well, first of all, it wasn't much different from Pushmataha since it's only 100 miles away. And we're talking about my being 17 years old. And this was in 1967. And I had applied to Tuskegee, and it turned out that Tuskegee was $800 a semester, which was out of my price range. The University of Alabama was $255 a semester. I always remember that. And the way it already been paid by a gentleman that's on here also, Mr. Craig, one of Thelma's sons, Willie Calvin Craig. So I tried to go to the University of Alabama and was successful, went there on condition. I didn't have a lot of skills. During my senior year, I checked around to see just what my abilities were. And as I examined my past career, I didn't have any real strong skills. I was okay in a certain type of math, but the 3 R's I was having a little bit of trouble with. So I went ahead and tried engineering when I got there, and struggled with it a while, but was able to get out in 4 years, and went to work and worked for 7 different major corporations before I retired in 2010. And since then, I've been working as a supplier to the Mercedes plant that I retired from. But in terms of leaving Pushmataha and going to Tuscaloosa, where I am now, I've made the full round. I'm back in Tuscaloosa. And one of the first things I wanted to do was go to church. And because I only knew Mount Nebo and the Gilfield district, I wanted to be exposed a little bit to some other types of churches. So I went to Catholic, Methodist, just about every church on campus. And then I said, well, I need to go to the Baptist church. And I went to Calvary Baptist Church, adjacent to town. And Calvary Baptist was a big, nice church. I walked up the steps by myself and was met at the door by 3 deacons, told me that they weren't integrated yet. I told them that was okay. I'd do that for them. And they turned me around. They offered to take me to another church, but I turned around and went to and walked to another denomination. And at the time, my roommate was Reverend Willie Calvin may remember him. He was a guy from Florida. And he told me, well, first of all, I went back over there about 5 times and got turned around. He said, let me go with you. And when we did, we got on the steps, they turned me around. They were about to turn me around. And Reverend Wills went wet around them and went into the church. and when they turned to deal with him, I went in also. And started going to church there. Actually, someone told me, one of the members said, okay, there's no problem for you to come. But about the third Sunday that I was there, I was having a lot of trouble out of statics and dynamics, one of the engineering courses. And I had a redneck for a teacher. I decided to go to Sunday school. And when I walked into Sunday school, there you are. So I was so happy to get that D that I got out of engineering drawing. But anyway, I didn't see a lot of discrimination because at the time that I went to the university, we were on the offensive, both in Choctaw County where there was a lot of marching. And we occupied the administration building, started the student, what was the Black student organization?
Afro-American Student Association.
Okay, you know about it much more than I do. Yeah.
Oh, y'all were real fancy.
But that was my stay there, and Willie could probably tell you more. Thank you.
And maybe Willie does want to tell us more. Do you want to tell us more?
I just really want to share 2 things. In my freshman year, which was 1966, they had the smartest computers in the world. Because of the 50 Black students that they let in 25 girls and 25 boys because they did not want any cross-pollination. And one other life lesson I learned, we were walking across the campus one night, going towards the girls' dorms. It was a Friday night, going sparking. And these 3 white guys saw the 3 of us and said, look at those niggers. And we said, wow, we don't want to fight. We got our good clothes on, but we can't let them get away with that. So we said, well, we'll just turn around and woof at them. We said, what you say? And the guy said, I said, look at those niggers. So we said, well, it's got to be on now. So literally, a life lesson that I learned was after we had beat that white boy out of his shoes, literally, he said, you have proven that you're a better man than I am, but I still say a nigger is a nigger.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Things have not changed.
No. Unfortunately, they have not. Thank you for that. And I think that's why I wanted to do the focus the way I did it today, is because so much of what's happening today is really just a repeat. It's a repeat of what has happened, in history. And I don't know if the younger folks in our family can really see that the way that I do, the way that we do. And so I'm hopeful that that this helps them to see that it's not the type of war where you fight a battle and you capture ground and then that's it. We're constantly having to recapture ground that we have captured before, but we can't stop fighting. We have to keep fighting, and we have to recognize that our ancestors have fought this fight. And so they're depending on us to pick up the fight and continue it. Yeah, they're depending on us. Anybody else want to comment? And just to let you know, we're gonna use the same format that we used before. We will close out in a few minutes, but we'll leave the call up for a while for a little socialization. But I think there were a couple of questions in chat that I probably didn't get to. Let's see. Someone asked for a copy of the presentation. And if you put your email address in the chat, I'll be happy to send the presentation to you. And Uncle Linzel, are you still there? Because going back to your discussion about the Uncle Ulysses' work at the steel mill, somebody wanted to know what was a chipper. And I'm sorry, I missed that question while you were talking.
Oh, okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can.
Okay. A chipper is a person who files the burrs off of steel rods and make them slick and shiny.
Okay,
So
he files the burrs off of steel rod to make them look. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How you know so much?
I keep my open. But I wanted to say something finally. I'm gonna try to shut up after this. I see Sister Benson, and I can tell you a whole story about my relationship to her, those Craigs, and the whole bit. When her daughter had an internship here in Washington to go to, and her mother called me and told me, reminded me that she lived with my mother and father when she was young. As a matter of fact, my mother always said that her grandmother married out of her house.
That's right. I heard that so many times. Yep.
Yep. When she came and stayed with us, and did her internship. That's family, different family.
That's right. Family looking after family.
As a matter of fact, I had never seen her before she came to my house.
Oh, really?
But she was welcome in my house.
How about that?
And then she had a smart mother and a smart father. And I think about them all the time. Where they came from. We were still doing each other good and helping out in the family.
Exactly.
Her mother called me and told me, and I told her, come on down. She and her husband brought her down here. And I went to the bedroom upstairs, and she stayed until she finished. So that goes back. Oh, beyond that was my sister Lucy and my brother Obi stayed with her grandmother to go to school. So it's just one thing after another. And I see that they've had Artie Parker on. When I went to Marie's, I went to her funeral, and Artie Parker came over and sat down by me. He said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I said, "No, I don't know who you are." He said, "My name is Artie Parker Jr., and I'm your cousin." And that changed my whole thinking about life itself.
Oh,
he
wow.
came down and made himself, and essentially I found out he got a good wife and sisters and a whole lot of hope. But Artie Parker and his sister, I wouldn't give a plug nickel for him.
All right, Uncle Lucy.
I love him again. When I look on Facebook and I see his sister it just make me glad all over.
Yeah, that's great. And we're glad to see, and we're grateful to be able to see you too, Uncle Linzel. And that's what's great about this calls is to be able to see each other and converse and learn something at the same time. And I'm extremely grateful, very, very thankful that you guys have responded to my invitations and come to sit together as a family for a while. I really, really appreciate it.
One of these days soon, we got to get to the level of expertise, all the way to my brother Frank being an industrial engineer, to Phyllis, who's the law school dean, all the way back over to Judge May, and don't forget about Cedric, who is the conference more and then anybody on this side of the Suez Canal. and,
I'll call you soon, Uncle.
There are some very accomplished people on this call. And don't forget about AJ.
I told you.
AJ, he's successful in things that I never thought about when I was doing.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep on going there, dude.
We're gonna get ready to close things down. Did anybody else have something burning that they wanted to share before we close with prayer?
I want to say hello to Linda. Good to see you.
Miss Linda Diane.
Linda State.
It's good to see everybody too.
I like to say that.
Go on.
I like to say that Black folks really should take a look at this past 2 elections and see how much power they wield with that vote. Amen. And that to me is a continuation of the fight for equal justice for Black people. It is that they just keep on going to the polls and vote, and because they can vote anybody in or out that they want to. All they need to do is show up.
Exactly.
And that's what I think should happen. Is going on.
Absolutely. Please. So much power in that vote. So much power.
Yeah.
I think that Carol Craig joined us. Carol, are you there? Would you like to say something before we close out?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I came in late, but my dear sister nudged me with a text that we're still on, so I was able to get in here and get on. It's great to see everyone's face, and I was able to hear a little bit. So hello to everyone, and just stay blessed and stay safe, and I'll be more timely next time.
All right, sounds great. Thank you for being here. And we
She
are
really sound like her mother.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm unmuted.
Well, I'm in Delaware, just in case anybody don't know where I am living now. I'm living in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you. We did record the call. I guess, Alexia, can you put in the chat because some of the Craigs may not have access to the page. I don't know. But anyway, we'll make sure you have the connection for it because we recorded the last one and we're recording this one, and we'll post it so everybody can access it. And I'll be sending out the presentation as well.
Deborah, Celeste, I wanted to hear Celeste say something.
Okay.
I just wanted to introduce everyone to my daughter. I noticed she jumped in. Her name is Deandra. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think she's the one Lindsay was talking about.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much, Uncle Lindsay. I really enjoyed that summer and learned so much from you and Aunt Loretta. So I'll never forget that, and thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
We love you. We appreciate you bunches.
Absolutely. All right. If there's nothing else, then like I said, we'll leave the call up for a few minutes after, well, for a little while after prayer. And cousin Al?
Yes.
will you offer a prayer to close us out, please?
I will. I could just say something just for a moment.
Yes.
I just like to say this is an excellent presentation,
You can hear.
and I would like to thank you and your crew for a fine job that you've done. I know that there's a lot of research, and I know a lot of questioning and talking, and I think that this has been good, and I wish that it'll be done again. I'm like Uncle Lindsay. Can't wait till the next time. I don't talk quite as much, but you know, nobody else sees it.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure to do it. I just love seeing the family together.
Diva.
Good.
Yes,
I love
ma'am.
you all look well, and I want you to stay safe and stay well. Let us pray.
Give me some cold water.
Lord, we're so thankful for you. We thank you for this family. We thank you for all that you're doing. We thank you for keeping us safe, even during this pandemic virus season. We thank you for bringing us through. Lord, we ask you to continue to watch this family, each and every one. Give us good decision making, clarity of thought, and continuity of speech. Lord, help us to be a discerning spirit so that we know right from wrong, know when danger approaches, what to say and what not to say. Keep us safe, even those that are not on this day, those that don't know you and the free pardon. We just ask you to bless them in a special way. In Jesus' name we pray. Keep us safe. Amen. Thank God.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all so much.
Man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Love to hear that man pray.
Girl, you need to quit.
I know. I get them.
Oh, Phyllis, thank you so much for getting the Craigs on. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful having the Craigs on today.
It was good to see Celeste.
I just shared the link.
That was good enough of those Craigs.
That's right. That was good enough.
And Willie Calvin, I still don't eat okra to this day.
I don't either.
But she said it like he had some role in it. I was gonna say.
He did. He mushed it up in his hand and act like he sneezed it out. And it just
well, that's good. It's
God
good
help a life.
Wow.
But it's definitely been good to be on. One of the things that Frank and I had the opportunity of sharing, we were actually roommates in college at the University of Alabama for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I taught him how to party.
I see.
Did it take?
Do a good job of that.
he didn't do a very good job.
We did good. Both of us made it out in 4 years. So.
Hey, that's a good thing.
That's wonderful.
That's a really good thing. That is a really good. And anybody can reach out to me. You know, any information that y'all want to see in the next meeting. Oh, Jonathan's actually going to make himself visible. How about that?
Here he is.
Hello.
I heard everything. Y'all should have seen me.
Yeah,
I was over in the corner.
Yeah, he was over in the corner clicking and moving and things straight. Now, I got a wonderful crew. They are awesome. They are awesome. All I have to do is talk.
With Alexis, you can't go wrong. Even as bad as you are. And I noticed something. Y'all sure hate to leave each other.
Yeah.
Don't you have somewhere to go?
No, it's like Mount Nebo after church.
Exactly.
You call it either the Mount Nebo or the Pleasant Hill. You don't know how to go home.
Leave by next Sunday, Saturday.
And when you finally do leave, you just all go to the same house.
Well, this country boy who got out of the country, but ain't got the country out of him. I'm gonna leave y'all here.
You go somewhere and eat something.
I was going to call you, Denzel, later today, maybe. If not tomorrow.
My phone's charged up.
Okay.
And I sure know how to talk.
I know that. I have to set aside at least an hour.
Barbara, you okay?
Huh?
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm good.
I just want to say,
We good to see you.
I just want to say goodbye to Miss Lanisha Knighton. Bye.
Hi, Daddy.
Okay. See y'all later.
Man, are you still on there?
Hmm?
I had to thank Amanda for reminding me. I'm,
Yeah.
forget it. Yeah.
I don't know who got who on there, Amanda or you, but it sure good that somebody did something.
And you, Uncle Van, you be safe traveling to Thailand.
Yeah, I'm trying to dot all my I's and cross all my T's to make sure everything is up and up.
Yeah.
And tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, I should take off.
You be safe.
Be safe.
That'll sail or a flight?
Oh no, I'll be flying. I'll be in the air for 2 days.
Woo!
No, y'all can have that.
I know, right? I ain't never flown anyway.
Never?
Never. So 2 days, I only think I could do an hour.
Yeah. 32 hours flying time.
Oh my word.
My goodness.
Mhm.
You have to change plane?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. It's 3 planes. 3 planes.
Oh my God. Be safe.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Yes,
Remember always,
This
the
only
Lord
be-
love you.
Did I hear
Yeah,
somebody
it's
say that
only-
Bernice was on?
she was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she was?
She was the one that said Queen V.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, she put her email in the chat.
Okay, cool.
All right, then. Yeah, it's hard to get a hold of that girl.
I think Amanda made it happen.
I did.
Yeah.
I couldn't guarantee how long though.
Hey, she popped in, put her info in there. She'll get the email.
Hey,
Yeah.
Deborah, did anybody reach out to Al Frederick Jr. and Alan now?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And she also reached out to some award children too.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get that Linda. One of the numbers was disconnected and the other one was the wrong number.
Oh. Geneva wanted to be on too, but she didn't have a technician.
Whose baby is that sleeping right there, Kay?
Oh, this is one of my great grands.
That's JB. That's Jeremiah.
Oh,
That's
Jeremiah.
boy.
Hello,
All
Jeremiah.
right, then.
Jeremiah.
Yeah.
He said sleep is good right now.
Mhm.
Go ahead and put his hand on this. That pillow wouldn't catch him. So.
Look at him sleep. Hey, Deborah, you got Jonathan to show up. I got Michael Keith to show up for a second.
Hey, how you doing?
Let me put on my glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, good to see you.
I was going to tell Albert Parker Jr. that I went to school with his father. And I knew his father and his mother. And they were some nice people. That's all.
Well, who is this?
Arby Parker.
Oh,
Jr.
okay.
I went to school with his father.
Oh, okay.
Charles and I did
Oh,
at Lisman School.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I thought you all was in a different time, different grade there.
No, we went to school together. We finished school together.
Oh, okay. I got
In '62, Mr. Marsh was our principal.
you. You're kidding.
Yeah.
He was still there when I got.
Wait, y'all silly. Mr. Marsh, I can't do this. Mr. Marsh was our principal. Miss Butler was our teacher. My.
Wasn't he mama principal too?
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all started her. You know she got a memory.
And I used to have to work in the cafeteria because I didn't have
Mm.
and watch all them pasta
Well,
y'all eat.
I'll just say one thing. I came out in '65, so that's what that tell you.
Yeah. But you didn't go to the same school I went to.
Hey, Deborah, what's the topic for the next call?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of leaning towards talking about occupations. Talking about occupations and vocations. But I'm not sure. But I'm open. And I want to. I do want to spread it out to more of Redden and Lucinda's children. I want to talk more about those connections. So I don't know. I'm open.
Yeah,
We'd love suggestions. We'd love to know what you want to hear.
I think one of my nephews wanted to do a special Zoom.
Thanks
I don't know if he's.
Say what now?
Yeah, so I was talking to, well, I've talked to just about all of the men in the family now, at least in that generation. Maybe not you, Uncle Frank, but we getting there. Prostate problems is a huge issue for our family, and we don't talk about it enough. I think we started to talk about it when it hits home, so to speak, but quite frankly, as we can see, all of us are home, and all of us can benefit from the information that I think we have gathered in the last at least 5 to 10 years, whether that be Uncle Obi or Linzel or my dad or Charles, Frank, Dan. Everybody has had some type of it keeps going. So I think all 7 of the boys have, save Uncle Al, have had some dealings with prostate issues, and we just don't talk about it enough. And so we got to get more transparent about things like this.
Yeah.
Daddy had
it.
Exactly.
It's going not only to the older guys. It's gone into the grandchildren, and it's the whole issue about prostate needs to be well hatched out in the family.
Yeah. So we're gonna put something together to at least get more information out there and talk about our own family history, because that's one of the things that we like to know when you come to the doctor. We don't just, I think everybody gets asked this question, but if you don't know that your family actually has a history, you're probably gonna say no when that question is asked.
Right.
Rather than say, oh yeah, my great grandfather had it and probably died from it in the late 60s or 1970. And that was 16 years before I was born. But I'm seeing that recur, year after year after year with his sons, his grandsons, and I'm a great grandson, so it's getting a little closer to home for me. So we need to talk about that, and we probably need to start screening a little earlier than the recommended 50 for the white men. So we can talk about that a little more in depth, but I'd like to get something together so we can at least equip ourselves with information to be able.
Yeah, absolutely.
We shouldn't leave it up to our doctors and our nurses and stuff to ask us these questions, especially when it's our history. And so there are some things, I was just talking to Charles about this a few hours ago. There are some things that we need to be conscious about, you know, in and of ourselves, because there are things that I, you know, as a clinician, don't know to ask for every single time. Well, I don't always think to ask for it. I may be seeing 40 people that day, and I'm trying to get the basic stuff out of the way. But if it's something you can talk about, then you can ask that question. It's my responsibility to talk to you about that. So I want us all to be aware of our own healthcare and better stewards of our own healthcare. And so if we're better equipped with information, then we're better able to go into that appointment, that visit, and ask the right question, or at least say, hey, I'm concerned about this. Can we talk about it? So
maybe it can even start before then, at preventive.
Right, exactly. And that's what it's getting to with my generation. We need to start to get into that preventive healthcare, because we see that it's there, but I think we started screening a little too late for you guys, and we've got to get into a realm of preventive medicine. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of treatment, and so we really, that, I don't know how else to put it, really. You know, if you prevent the stuff, you just won't have to worry about it. You plan things. You know, you think about the worst things, and if we can plan to prevent it, then we won't have to worry about dealing with it once it gets here, or we won't have to worry about it getting here. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, because we need to just find out if we can prevent it. You know, or you know, I don't know whether as much about a prevention as, you know, is inevitable. So I don't know. We need to talk about it.
There are studies that say, you know, if you live long enough and you are a man, that you'll probably get prostate cancer. So like, there's that. But we also know that if you test early enough, then you'll be able to treat early enough as well, to where you'll avoid the cancerous stages of this prostate enlargement and things like that. So we can talk about it. I'll do my research, and we're gonna get something together to where we can actually inform each other about this stuff. So when we go to the doctors next time, maybe y'all don't even have a doctor. I am a doctor, but I don't have a doctor. So, I mean, you know, this is real stuff that we don't talk about, you know, but we don't always, we need to be able to get into this habit of taking better care of ourselves, including you all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So
I love y'all.
Love you too, Paul. Love you too.
Be safe, boo.
Yes, ma'am.
And Cedric, I think that it's important to first of all say that prostate cancer, you know, is a part of our family history, our family medical history, and that early detection is important. You know, it determines the course of therapy. It determines your prognosis. I think, like you said, we got to be more transparent. We just got to make those statements and make sure that you know, that the men in our family know. And I'm of the mind that men of a certain age should have a urologist.
Yeah,
you know, they should just
it almost become a primary care clinician for men of that age. Like, just like women have gynecologists, we need to have urologists, or at least have access to one, so that we are in place already to be able to take care of the things that may arise and will likely arise in our family from all evidence.
Exactly, but if we don't ask for it, you won't get it.
That's right.
Right.
So whenever you're ready to do that Zoom, just let me know.
I will.
We'll get it arranged.
Okay. I think that and I'm going to let you get some male assistance. It's my tendency to jump into stuff and say I'm going to do, but I want to let you get somebody, because I think it would also be good if you had some type of survey, so that you can find out what the current experience rate is, and also what the knowledge is. And that will give you some additional feedback. You know, I love measures and outputs.
The internal, sir, an internal.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
An internal survey, like with us, or?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good.
Also, Debop, what I'm finding during this pandemic is depression is very, very, very prevalent. And a lot of people say they're okay, but they're not. They're hiding how they're really feeling. And I think that that's something that we need to, as a family, come together and just talk to each other and see, are you really okay? You know, is there something that you need? You know, if you can't talk in a safe place with your family, then who can you talk to? And, you know, it's a blessing that we have this Zoom, but it's literally some serious depression issues with this pandemic itself. People losing jobs, people losing their home, people losing all kinds of things. And then yet they're saying, I'm good, I'm okay. And in reality, they're ready to go and cut the lights off and say, I'm not want to be here anymore. So before anything like that ever happens, it's good to have a setting like this where, okay, you're safe, you're with family, what's going on with you? Because you'll probably be surprised at some of the things you find out that each and every last one of us are dealing with because of this pandemic.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, Frankie, on that. And I think it's important that we, you know, reach out to people, you know, try to think about somebody that maybe, you know, is not receiving phone calls or, you know, somebody checking on them and just, you know, do that reach out. You know, I think that's very important. Interestingly enough, it's kind of how the idea for doing this came up was, you know, I've worked all my life. And so to come to a place where I actually wasn't going to a job every day, I found out that I needed, you know, some projects to work on. And so I started, you know, kind of working on the family history project in earnest. And then I thought, well, there's no point in me doing all this research and I don't share it with somebody. So it's kind of how, you know, this came to be. So I agree with you. I think we all have to do things to maintain our mental health. And I think those family connections become important with all of that.
I don't know where Amanda is, but it's really, really pretty.
What's up, Amanda? What you doing?
I'm at the park.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know where.
It's a park by the bridge, by the water.
Okay.
The sky is so pretty.
I've seen sky, I've seen water, I've seen greenery. I'm like, where is she?
I'm out here where the white people live, so my kids can have a nice time at the park.
Understand completely. I did the same thing.
Got the dog out here too. You know, white people love dogs, so we just out here having a good time.
Oh my goodness.
I hear you, cuz.
Yeah, exactly. Robert, are you going to show your face? Robert Tucker, are you going to show your face?
So what now? I'm sorry. What you say now?
Are you going to show your face?
Yeah,
oh, sure.
You got to.
Hey,
Robert Tucker.
See there, you made people's day just by letting them see.
Yeah, how wonderful. See, you Alicia came back on. She said, well.
Well, I've enjoyed the Zoom. I try not to miss it again in life.
All right. Phyllis, who you got in the background back there?
Okay, so I'm not going to count, but I think this is a great. I think this is a level of Redden and Lucinda.
Oh wow! Hey,
say another legs. Just a kicking.
Yeah, another Ruffin offspring.
Oh.
Wow.
And one more.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
came out. Now talking about came out looking like them.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
What's the baby name, Phyllis?
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
All
yeah,
right.
brother Max.
I was counting, it's 5 or 6. It's from Grandma Cindy. How many generations?
Let's see. Is it 5?
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
Cindy,
I think
Emma,
it's
Thelma,
5.
Phyllis, Keith,
Let's
6.
see. Phyllis.
Lucinda.
5 from her.
Thelma, Phyllis, Keith.
Keith,
and then
Maxwell. Well, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Yes. Michael Keith said it was 5. He said he knew what it was.
Phyllis got a grandbaby.
That is something.
That's right. That's right. To go with the gray hair.
That was only for one person's benefit, y'all. I'm sorry.
But I do want to apologize for y'all dolls back in the day. I apologize for your baby dolls, okay?
That's all right, Frank.
Frank, yeah, we accept your belated apology.
I don't accept it because it ain't real.
It's real, y'all. It's real.
He's handsome.
Yeah,
he's cute.
And
Yes.
he's tall, isn't he?
Julian.
No, he's a big boy. He's 6 months old.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Maxwell.
Yeah, and he was premature, but you wouldn't know it.
He's making up for it.
Well, you know, he got his appetite straight off the DNA line. So, he doesn't like missing a meal. He's catching up.
Wow.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
See you later.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Only
All
say
right.
see you later, never bye.
Yep, and I'm sure
Amanda, you just let your daddy go
you
anywhere,
got your
don't you?
you got your vaccine, right, Van?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Y'all
All
make
right.
sure y'all get yours. I've been had mine a couple of months.
Yep.
Amanda, you just can't stop him, can you?
No, I don't even try.
He just go anywhere.
He just go anywhere.
You know what? He living his little life, and
You just let him do it.
Let him do it.
yeah.
Hello. Thank
Live
you.
your best life. All right, you all take care.
All right. Good to hear from you, Amanda.
Julia. Hey, Julia.
Hello, how are you?
Hey.
Well, at least it's after Trump got out of office, so we pretty sure you can get back
Yeah,
in the
because he
country.
may not have been able to get back in.
Exactly.
Hey.
I ain't seen Julian since the wedding.
Hey, Julian.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Doing good.
Where's your little
That's a
brother?
blessing.
Eddie?
How long has it been since the wedding? Is this 2 years?
Julian, who are you?
I am Grandma Barbara's grandson.
Okay. All right. I couldn't say who your people because I know who your people are.
Yeah, I've been enjoying myself with my wife and just been a teacher and a coach. So just doing good.
That's
Good.
So proud of you.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Absolutely. Coach Julian.
Coach Allen. Coach Allen did it.
Coach Allen.
Coach Allen.
Oh,
Coach Allen. That's all right.
Yeah, that's some good stuff there.
What was that?
Wheeler. I get that now. It's in my book.
So upset.
What's up, man?
Nothing much.
I'm glad you got that link going, man. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Grandma said she had to get in. I was like, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Preston and Gina out of town, huh?
Yeah, they're in DC. They're on their way back now. So I was with Grandma for the weekend and made sure she had what she needed.
That's great.
Just you by yourself, or your sister and your wife come over too?
My wife came over, so she helped, of course. But yeah, it's just me and my wife. Yeah, Portia's a lawyer, and so she's working for. She told me the other day, but she's working for the city now. So it was like she's a public defender. So,
Yeah, she wanted to do that.
Yeah, and so she is taking care of that, which she's been in training for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And so she's gonna be like working like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So she's getting prepared for it.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
You can Night court. Tell her
Yeah.
there was a television show about that.
That sound like pledging.
Funniest part is like she grew up watching First 48, so I'm not surprised she's doing this at all. So
Yeah, quite a few.
Well, I had both my vaccine and I'm doing fine.
That's good. We've all had ours too, I think.
Long time ago.
It didn't bother me at all. It's just like taking a flu shot.
Oh,
Okay.
tell everybody that.
Just did.
Just like taking a flu shot. Or any
Okay.
other shot.
Everybody else that you see.
I will.
All right.
Daddy.
oh, you can say it. Go ahead.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye, Aunt Barbara.
I'm Boo-boo.
So long, not saying bye-bye.
All right.
Talk to you, Cassie.
Bye-bye.
All right, fam. See y'all.
All right. See you later, too.
Good to see you.
Everyone have a nice week.